So for your reading today, let me just get the pen ready. For your reading today, guys, we are going to be starting a new book, which is the Fantastic Mr. Fox by Roald Dahl. Before we start, I want you to have a think about if you've read any Roald Dahl books before. I'm pretty sure the answer to this is going to be yes. Have a think, see if you can remember the titles and what happened in them, because he's written loads of books, and I know we've read quite a few at school. If you remember a couple of years back for World Book Day, we did the Roald Dahl doors. Do you remember that? And every classroom had a different door with things on from a different Roald Dahl story. That was really exciting. Okay. Today is Monday the 20th of April. We're going to be asking you to read chapter 1 and 2. Okay. It's quite a lot of pictures in this book. So two chapters isn't actually that much. Okay. Before we go on to it, what I'm going to say to you is you've got this text in the pack that you can download. So when we come on to the questions, it would be worth having that text open on your computer or printed off in front of you. If you've got a printer, that would be fab, to try and help you with the answers, okay, rather than having to start and stop this video. Okay, I've blown up every page and we're going to read it together, but when every new page comes on, okay, we're practicing your reading skills here, your fluency, okay, as well as your comprehension. So when every new page comes on, I want you to pause the video, have a go at reading the text out loud, as you would in your whole class reading sessions, okay? Don't wait for me to read it, okay, because you're not going to learn that way. If you are struggling, okay, leave the video on and try and read along with me. Follow with your finger if you're struggling, okay? But do have a go, where possible, to read it by yourself first. Okay. Chapter 1, The Three Farmers. Down in the valley there were 3 farms. The owners of these farms had done well. They were rich men. They were also nasty men. All 3 of them were about as nasty and mean as any men you could meet. Their names were Farmer Boggis, Farmer Bunce, and Farmer Bean. And you can see, here they are down here. Boggis was a chicken farmer. He kept thousands of chickens. He was enormously fat. This was because he ate 3 boiled chickens smothered with dumplings every day for breakfast, lunch and supper. Bunce was a duck and goose farmer. He kept thousands of ducks and geese. He was a kind of pot-bellied dwarf. He was so short his chin would have been underwater in the shallow end of any swimming pool in the world. His food was doughnuts and goose livers. He mashed the livers into a disgusting paste and then stuffed the paste into the doughnuts. This diet gave him tummy ache and a beastly temper. Bean was a turkey and apple farmer. He kept thousands of turkeys in an orchard full of apple trees. He never ate any food at all. Instead, he drank gallons of strong cider, which he made from the apples in his orchard. He was as thin as a pencil and the cleverest of them all. Boggis and Bunce and Bean, one fat, one short, one lean, these horrible crooks, so different in looks, were nonetheless equally mean. That is what the children round about used to sing when they saw them. Chapter 2, Mr. Fox. On a hill above the valley there was a wood. In the wood there was a huge tree. Under the tree there was a hole. In the hole lived Mr. Fox and Mrs. Fox and their 4 small foxes. Every evening, as soon as it got dark, Mr. Fox would say to Mrs. Fox, "Well, my darling, what shall it be this time? A plump chicken from Boggis? A duck or a goose from Bunce? Or a nice turkey from Bean?" And when Mrs. Fox had told him what she wanted, Mr. Fox would creep down into the valley in the darkness of night and help him. Boggis and Bunce and Bean knew very well what was going on, and it made them wild with rage. They were not men who liked to give anything away. Less still did they like anything to be stolen from them. So every night, each of them would take his shotgun and hide in a dark place somewhere on his own farm, hoping to catch the robber. But Mr. Fox was too clever for them. He always approached a farm with the wind blowing in his face, and this meant that if any man were lurking in the shadows ahead, The wind would carry the smell of that man to Mr. Fox's nose from far away. Thus, if Mr. Boggis was hiding behind his chicken house number 1, Mr. Fox would smell him out from 50 yards off and quickly change direction, heading for chicken house number 4 at the other end of the farm. Dang and blast that lousy beast, cried Boggis. I'd like to rip his guts out, said Bunce. He must be killed, cried Bean. But how, said Boggis. How on earth can we catch the blighter? Bean picked his nose delicately with a long finger. I have a plan, he said. You've never had a decent plan yet, said Bunce. Shut up and listen, said Bean. Tomorrow night we will all hide just outside the hole where the fox lives. We will wait there until he comes out. Then bang! Bang, bang, bang! Very clever, said Bunce. But first we shall have to find the hole. My dear Bunce, I've already found it, said the crafty Bean. It's up in the wood on the hill. It's under a huge tree. 1. What are the 3 farmers called? Question 2. Who keeps which animals? So you've got your 3 farmers down the left-hand side. You need to draw a line to the right animal, okay, that they keep. Where does Bean keep his turkeys? Then in chapter 2, how many children did Mr. and Mrs. Fox have? And then question 5, find and copy 2 phrases on page 9 which tell us that the farmers agree with Mr. Fox. Okay, so there are your sentence stems. Remember to answer in full sentences. Use the text to help you. Pause the video, and when you've got your answers, press play. Okay, well done, guys. So the 3 farmers are called Bunce, Bean and Boggis. You can see from question 2 that Boggis, where is my pointer? Boggis farmed chickens, Bean had turkey and apples, and Bunce had a duck and goose farm. Okay, Bean keeps his turkeys in an orchard full of apple trees. Mr. and Mrs. Fox have, you could have written 4 children, because that was the question, or 4 small foxes, because that's what it says in the text. Find and copy 2 phrases on page 9 which tell us the farmers were angry. Okay, there were 3, but you can have 2 of the following. Dang and blast that lousy beast, cried Boggis. I'd like to rip his guts out, said Bunce. He must be killed, cried Bean. You could have any 2 of those, okay, because they all tell us that the farmers were really angry with Mr. Fox. They don't sound very happy about any of that, do they? Okay, so for the next 3 questions, you need to have a little bit more brain, you need to use a little bit more brain power, use your thinking caps. Okay, so question 6. Do you think the children like the 3 farmers? How do you know this? Use your evidence from the text. Okay, so again, you've got your sentence stems underneath to help you. Okay, do you think the children like the 3 farmers? You're not just writing yes or no. You've got to use information from the text that Roald Dahl has given us as the reader to explain why you think that. Okay, what ideas are we given about Mr. Fox? And why do we have these ideas? What in the text has given us this impression of Mr. Fox? The farmers are different in many ways. This is question 8. How are they alike? So they're different in so many ways, aren't they? What have they got about them? What qualities have they got that are the same? Okay. Pause your video. Okay. Okay. You've had a really good go there, guys. These ones are a little bit harder because, like I say, I can't go and give you the green and give you the exact answers because everybody in your class is going to have a completely different answer, and that's okay as long as you've used your evidence from the text to back up your point. Okay, but we are going to have a little bit of a look to see where you might find that information and some of the ideas that you might have included. So, question 6. Do you think that the children like the 3 farmers? How do you know this? Use evidence from the text. So, if we go over to this song here. Oops. This song here. Boggis and Bunce and Bean. One fat, one short, one lean. These horrible crooks, I'm going to underline that. So different in looks were nonetheless equally mean. Okay, so that suggests to me, the reader, that if the children are singing this, which it says underneath, when they saw the three farmers, they used to sing it, it suggests that they don't like the farmers. Okay. What's given me that impression? Well, let's have a look at the language used again, the vocabulary that Roald Dahl has chosen to use. He's used the word crooks. Does anyone know what the word crooks means? Okay, so crooks means it's a little bit like a baddie, a criminal, a robber. You might call a robber a crook. Okay, it's someone that's not very good. They're not up to good things. They're up to mischief. Okay. And you've also got here, we're already told, one's fat, one's short, one's lean. They're so different in looks, but they are nonetheless equally mean. Okay, that means that they are mean. They are unkind. Okay, so this song, although it's only 5 lines, gives us the impression, this is our evidence in the text, that the children do not like the 3 farmers. They think that they are crooks, they think that they are baddies, and they think that they are mean. Okay, so your answer might be along the lines of that. What ideas are we given about Mr. Fox, and why do we have these ideas? So we've got a little bit of information on page 7. Okay, every night he asks, and it says every evening, Mr. Fox, and we can see from this picture here, Mr. Fox asks Mrs. Fox and the children what they want for dinner. Okay, this suggests to me as the reader, and please excuse my writing, I can't do it very well on my laptop, that Mr. Fox is kind. It also suggests to me that he is caring and he is trying to look after his wife and he is trying to look after his children by going to get them some food. Okay, that is what that suggests to me. Going on to the next 2 pages, page 8 and page 9, Roald Dahl uses the word clever to describe Mr. Fox. Okay, and I think I would agree with that. Okay, I get the impression that Mr. Fox is quite clever because every time that he goes to get a chicken or turkey, he doesn't get caught because he's got very good plans. Okay, you might want to use the word clever. You might also, though, want to use the word sneaky or sly. Okay, if you've got those words in your answer, that's okay too. Okay, because what we're saying is Mr. Fox, what he's doing isn't necessarily right. Okay, we shouldn't steal things. Okay, and sneaky and sly are a little bit, we'd say they're probably more negative words than clever. Okay, when we think of clever, we think of positive and really good. Okay, sly, he's a little bit sneaky. Okay. And then going on to the last question, question 8. The farmers are different in many ways. How are they alike? Now, I'm not going to flip all the way back to the first page, but on the very first page, it said all of the men had done very well for themselves. It also said they are all rich. Okay, so that is one way that they are alike that you could use in your answer. Okay. Also, whilst they are very different in looks, and we've already explored that a little bit, it says here they were not men who liked to give anything away. Okay, less still did they like anything to be stolen from them. So that is something, that is one of the big things that they have all got in common. They don't like to give things away. Okay, so one word that you might have included in your answer is, again, excuse my writing, is the word selfish. How are they alike? They are selfish. They don't want to give any of their chickens or their geese or their hens away. Okay, they're very different in looks. How else are they alike? They also, you can see here, all 3 of them, and we've had a look at that already, all 3 of them really don't want the fox alive. All 3 of them want him dead to stop him from stealing the chickens. Okay, so if your answer includes any of those points, it sounds like it's a good one. Well done, guys.
Good morning, Year 3. Welcome to your first online maths learning lesson. Now, if at any point you should be able to pause this if you need to, or if I ask you to pause it so you can have a little go on your own, that'd be fantastic. And you should be able just to carry on playing after that. If at any point you need to go backwards or you need to go over something again, that's absolutely fine. It's just a chance for you to have some teaching from me, and I'll be doing plenty of examples to help you out along the way. I've planned a do it for you at the end where you have a go at some of the questions completely on your own in your book. I think you'll be absolutely fine with these. You'll absolutely smash them like you always do. And I've also done a little secure it challenge for you at the end as well. You can go through the answers at the end, so you can self-mark like we do in class as well. By all means, let me know how you get on. Send me pictures of your work, if you're working out. If you'd rather do that, and then I can let you know how you got on. That's absolutely fine. You can send me pictures of what you're doing, or just send me a little email to let me know how you got on, or if you think you've spotted what the rule is to finding a unit fraction of an amount. Now, before we get started properly, I've got some fractions for you that you should be able to see on the screen. Before we try and work out how we find a unit fraction of an amount, can you remember what a unit fraction is? Now, you'll see on the screen we have got here some different fractions. Okay, we've got 3/4 here. So remember, you've got your denominator is the one on the bottom, and your numerator is the one on top. Denominator tells us how many equal parts there are all together, and our numerator is how many of those equal parts we're looking at. So we've got 3/4 there, 2/8, 1/3, 5/6, 1/10, 5/5, and 1/4. So which of those fractions do you think are unit fractions? Can you use that to explain what a unit fraction is? Perhaps you can explain it to somebody at home. I've also got a regular recall question there for you, just as a little extra challenge. Can you tell me which of those fractions is equal to 1 whole? There's just one fraction there that's equal to 1 whole. Okay, so you can pause me for a second whilst you try and work that out and double check that we all remember what that is. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you have found the unit fractions and challenge yourself to double check which one is 1 whole. Okay, so I get my pen. Now here we've got 3/4, so that would be 4 equal parts, but we'd be looking at 3 of them. Now that is not a unit fraction, okay? Here we've got 2/8, okay, so we're looking 2 out of the 8 equal parts. That one is not a unit fraction. Here we've got 1/3. Now this one is a unit fraction, and hopefully you'd be able to jump up and say that's definitely a unit fraction, because a unit fraction is a fraction where your numerator is 1. Okay, we remember that 1 is equal to a unit. Okay, if we were using our base 10, that's a nice way to remember it. So a unit fraction is when we're looking at just one of the equal parts. It doesn't matter about whatever our denominator is. If our numerator is 1, it is a unit fraction. Okay, so 1/3 is a unit fraction. 5/6 is not. 1/10 is a unit fraction because we've got 1 as our numerator. 5/5. Now 5/5 is not a unit fraction, however it is equal to 1 whole. Okay, because it's 5 out of the 5 equal parts. It's all of it. It's the entire thing. That's 1 whole. So that was that extra challenge question. And last but not least here, we've got 1/4, which is also a unit fraction. So well done if you remembered that. A unit fraction is a fraction that shows one unit of the equal parts. It always has 1 as a numerator, but it's important to remember that it doesn't matter how big or small the denominator is, as long as your numerator is 1, it is a unit fraction. Okay, so I've just moved over our 1/10 and 1/4 to the side there. We're going to come back to those in a minute, and we're going to start off by having a look at 1/3. Now I'm going to focus on that. Now when we look at 1/3, how many equal parts are there altogether? Hopefully you're jumping up. If we were in class, you'd be saying 3 because the denominator is 3. There's 3 equal parts. And And because it's a unit fraction, we're looking at one of those three equal parts. Now let's have a look at how that works when we're looking at amounts. You guys have been brilliant at finding fractions of shape. So we're now going to apply that to amounts, so numbers. Now here I've got 6 pink flowers, and we're going to have a look at finding 1/3 of 6. Now have a little think, which number facts could you use to help you? If we've got 6 as our whole amount and we're finding 1/3, think about how many equal parts you might need to split that 6 into. So come back to your fraction. What does the denominator tell us? It tells us that there are 3 equal parts altogether. So how many equal parts are we going to split our whole 6 into? Again, hopefully you're all sat there screaming 3. We're going to split it into 3 equal parts. Now to do this and to really show you nice and clearly, I'm simply going to do a bar model. You know I love doing a bar model where possible. So I'm just going to draw my slightly wonky bar model and to show you that my whole amount is here. That's my whole amount. So I've got 6 there as my whole amount. That's my whole piece. And I'm splitting it into 3 equal parts. Oopsie. Into 3 equal parts. So I've got, that's 1 part, 2 and 3. Okay, I've got 3 equal parts. Now, what am I going to put in each of those 3 equal parts? If they're equal, that means each part needs to have the same amount in, and altogether it's got to equal 6. Now you might be thinking of a calculation that you could use to do that. I'm going to give you a little clue. It might be to do with your times tables. I'm not going to tell you what the rule is or the rule that we can use when we're finding fractions of amounts. I want to see if you can let me know if you think you know what the rule is when we're finding a fraction of an amount. What do we have to do? To begin with though, we're just going to focus on using the bar model to help us work that out. So I'm just going to pop a different colour on to show you this a little bit more clearly. Okay, so if I've got 6 altogether, that's my whole amount, and we're looking at thirds, 1/3, so I've split my bar into 3 equal parts. I'm now going to share those 6 between my 3 equal parts. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to share 6, so 1, 2, 3. Now I've got 6 altogether, so I'm going to keep going and start at the beginning again. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't need to go any further because I've counted up to 6. 6 is my whole amount. Now I'm going to check how many I've got in each of my parts and check that they are equal. I've got 1, 2 there, 1, 2 there, and more. Oh, there's 1 disappeared too. I've got 2 there. Okay, 2, 4, 6. Brilliant. So I have used my whole amount and it's been shared equally because I've got the same amount in each one. Now that means that 1/3, because I'm looking at one of my 3 equal parts, I'm just going to circle one of my 3 equal parts. I'm not circling 2, I'm not circling 3, I'm just looking at 1 because I'm looking at 1/3. So I'm going to write it over here, 1/3 of 6 equals, and what is there in my 1/3? 2. Okay. Another little go at finding 1/3. But instead of looking at 1/3 of 6, we're going to find 1/3 of 12. Now I've got 12 marbles here. Now, although that's a different amount, what am I doing that's the same? I'm still finding 1/3. How many equal parts am I going to be sharing my 12 marbles into? I'm going to draw my bar model again. Okay, I've got 12 all together. That's my whole amount. I've got 12. Now, if you want to pause here and in your book and to today's date, you can have a little go at trying this without me. If you want to pause me, you can draw your bar model. You've got 12 all together and we're trying to find 1/3. So think about how many equal parts you're sharing that between, and can you work out what's going to be in each equal part before I do? So you can pause me now and then have a go and then carry on playing me and see if you get it right. So pause me now so you can have a go. Okay, so hopefully you have had a little go in your book at working this out. Now let's see if you were correct. Now we're finding 1/3, so we're still splitting our whole amount into 3 equal parts. So hopefully your bar model has got 3 equal parts. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Got 12 altogether, so I'm going to share 12 between those 3 equal parts. Now, I'm hoping some of you have started to use your multiplication facts, thinking, well, I know 3 lots of go into 12. But if you're not sure and you're not confident in your 3s yet, that's absolutely fine. You can do what I'm about to do and share it out like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, whoops. Let me get rid of that one. Silly me. Don't do that because that will get you very confused. So I've gone 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, now I'm not going any higher than 12 because 12 is the whole amount. Now, hopefully I've got the same equal amount in each part. So I've got 4 there. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, and we should know that's definitely correct because 3 lots of 4, I'm going to write that down up here just because that might help us later. 3 lots of, oh for goodness sake, let's come into 3 lots of 4 equals 12. Okay, so that means then 1/3. Now remember, we're looking at just one of these 3 equal parts. So I've got one of my 3 equal parts. You can circle yours as well if that helps you. That will definitely help you for later on when we look at non-unit fractions. But because we're focusing on just 1 unit fraction, that does help just to circle that 1. So 1/3 of 12 equals 4. Okay, well done. I imagine all of you got that when you had a go on your own in your book. If you didn't though, can you see where you've gone wrong? Is it the sharing it between those 3 equal parts? Did that bit trick you? Did you just miscalculate, or did you do what I did where I started adding, I did 2 in 1 instead of sharing them out equally? So remember, with fractions, each part needs to be equal. Each equal part is the same. Okay? So now we're looking at 1/4. We finished with our thirds, so now we're going to look at 1/4. What's different about this fraction? How many equal parts will there be altogether? So look at your denominator. Okay, so we've got 4 equal parts. We're still only looking at one of those 4 equal parts, but instead of sharing it into 3, we're going to share it into 4 equal parts. Now I've got my flowers again, but I haven't got 6, I've got 8. Okay, so we're going to find 1/4 of 8. So I'm going to do my bar model again. I'm going to draw it out. Okay, my whole amount is 8 because I've got 8 flowers. Now I'm going to divide this into 4 equal parts because we're looking at quarters. Now, the special thing about quarters, I remember who told me this in class. Somebody said, oh, quarters the same as a half. Is halving it and halving it again, which is very, very true. So when I do my bar model, I split my bar in half like that, and then I take each half and split it in half again, like that. So now I've got 4 equal parts. Now, if you want to pause me again, so you can have a quick go before I do it and see if you get it right and check, self-assess yourself. Are we getting it? Are you seeing a pattern here? Are you spotting what the rule might be? Which number facts are you using? Which ones are you going to use now? If we were looking at our 3s before, which multiplications are we going to be using now? Which facts are we using? So pause me and have a little go. Can you find 1/4 of 8? Okay, so hopefully you've had a little go in your book. So now I'm going to have a go on here, and hopefully we've got the same answer. I'm going to do a different colour again. Now I could use my multiplication facts, but just to double check before, just to check that whether I'm confident, I am going to draw them out first. So I've got 1, I've got 8 altogether. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Saw 1 disappear then. Okay, so I'm not going any further than 8 because 8 is my whole amount. Now let's just double check that I have got an equal amount in each of my parts. I've got 2 there, 1, 2, another 2 there, another 2 here, and another 2 here. Perfect. And now I'm going to count in 2 just to double check I've shared out my 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Perfect. So I've not gone over and I've not missed any. So that's always useful just to double check that you have in fact used your whole amount. Now remember, we're looking at just one of these 4 equal parts. I'm just going to circle that one. It could be any one of those, but it's just 1/4. So one of those 4 equal parts. So our answer for 1/4 of 8, I split 8 into 4 equal parts. One of those parts will be 2. Okay, well done. If you had a go on your own and you got the same answer as me. If you didn't, do you know where you went wrong? What was the little mistake that you made? Okay, and you can have a go for the next one and see if you can do it without making that mistake. Oh, where have they gone? There they are. Okay, so 12 marbles. If you want to have a go on your own again, you can. Just pause me and see, test yourself. Are you ready for your do it yet? So I've got 12 all together. Finding 1/4, so we're going to be splitting it into 4 equal parts. I'm going to split it in half. And I'm going to split it in half again. Just go over, it doesn't look like an extra part. Okay, so if you want to pause me now and see if you can work out what's going to go in each of those equal parts. We've got 4 parts there, so 4 equal lots of what would make 12. I bet all of you know that straight away. I think this is like your favourite number fact whenever we practice times tables. Okay, so pause me so you can have a little go on your own. Okay, well done. If you've just had a go, I'm going to get a different colour out. Oh, I like this nice blue colour. So I'm going to share 12 between 4 equal parts. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 12 though, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm not going to go any further because I've used my whole amount of 12. Now we're looking at 1 equal part out of those 4. Okay, it's one of those. Now how many is in there? You've got 3. Oh, I didn't check actually. Have I got 3 in each of them? 3, another 3 there. Yep, 3 and 3. So 4 lots of 3, 3, 6, 9, 12. Perfect. I have used my entire whole amount. So 1/4 of 12 equals 3. So I split 12 into 4 equal parts, divided it into 4 equal parts, and in one of those parts there was 3. Okay, now, last one. I haven't even bothered using marbles or flowers for this because I think, although I've saved it till last, I think finding tenths of an amount is probably the easiest one. So, if I'm still going to draw a bar model just to show you how sometimes using our number facts is actually more efficient than drawing it out. Because if my whole amount is 20, that's quite a lot, isn't it? And I'm splitting it into 10 equal parts. I'm just going to split that in half first. I'm going to do 5 on each side of that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There we go. So I've got 10 equal parts there because now our denominator is 10. Now we're sharing 20 into 10 of those parts. If you would like to pause it so you can have a quick go, I don't think you'll even need to draw dots for this one. Just think about 20 shared into 10 little parts. How many 10s go into 20? Okay, so pause me now. Have a quick go in your book. Okay, hopefully you've come back now and you have found the answer. I'm still going to draw the dots just to prove it. 1, 2, 3. This takes a long time. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Right, now, the bigger the number of the whole amount, the easier it is to make mistakes because then you start to miscount things. Okay, so if it's bigger, do try and think about the calculation that you could use to help you with that. Now, I've shared out my 20. I'm not going any higher because 20 is the whole amount. I am just going to double check that they are all equal. I've got the same amount in each equal part. I've got 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Yeah, I have got 2 in each one. Perfect, because I know that 10 lots of 2, 10 times 2, 2 times 10, it makes 20. So that means, and I'm looking at one of those 10 equal parts. Okay, so that means that 1/10 of 20 equals 2. Okay, right, so well done if you got that one right. If not, do you know where you've gone wrong? Is it how many equal parts you were sharing it into? Or did you miscount because it was a slightly bigger number? Or did you use the wrong multiplication fact to help you, or division fact? Okay, so I want you to have a go at doing your do it on your own in your book. All right, so I've got here for you 9 different questions. Okay, so to begin with, you're just focusing on your thirds. So finding 1/3 of 9, 1/3 of 15, 1/3 of 21, 1/4 of 16, 1/4 of 24, and 1/4 of 20. And then, again, I didn't want to say them to the last because I think these ones are the easiest, and you might not have to even draw a bar model for these, but 1/10 of 30, 1/10 of 50, and 1/10 of 40. Hopefully by then you realise what the calculation is that you're using. If you've worked it out, if you can work out a rule for finding unit fractions of maths, please do email it to me. That'd be really, really wonderful, and we can use it for tomorrow's lesson as well. Okay, so you might want to think about, to find a unit fraction of an amount, all you need to do is do what? What are you doing every single time? Are you multiplying your whole amount? Are you dividing your whole amount? Are you adding your whole amount? And what are you always doing it by? Are you adding the denominator or the numerator? Are you multiplying the denominator or the numerator? Or are you dividing by the denominator or the numerator? Which one is it? What are you doing each time? If you think you've worked it out, then you can try testing it with some other numbers. You can make up your own if you want to. So have a go at these in your book. I would recommend doing the bar model, especially for the first few, just to check that you've got it. If you do a bar model, make sure you're drawing the correct equal parts. Okay, so if your denominator is 3, you're going to draw 3 parts. If its denominator is quarters, you're going to do 4 parts. If you want to do it for tenths, you're going to draw 10 equal parts. Okay, so have a go, draw it in your book, and we can check the answers together later. Okay, well done guys, off you go. Okay, so hopefully you've completed your do it in your book, and maybe you've gone through that with an adult to check it, but what I'll do is I'll put the answers at the start of the next one for you. But I have put here a secure it challenge, and what I've done is I've given you a fraction of something and I've told you what the answer is. Your job is to see if you can work out what the whole amount is all together. So 1/4 of something is 7. So what would the whole amount be? Okay, so if you've got, look at your denominator, you've got 4 equal parts altogether. One of those equal parts is 7. What would the whole amount be? If I were you, I'd draw a bar model, draw those equal parts. What's going to be in each of those equal parts? Can you work out what the whole amount is? Okay, so you can write in your book, secure it challenge, and then draw that out for me. It'd be fantastic. Okay, well done guys. Have a go at it all, and you can send me an email. You can take a picture of your work if you want to. If you'd rather me check it, then you can do that. But what I'll do is I'll post the answers to it possibly separately, I think. Okay, brilliant. Well done, guys. I look forward to seeing you having a go at all this fantastic maths. Thanks, guys. Well done.
Hello everybody, welcome to your writing lesson for today. We're going to be carrying on with the work that Miss Williams started with you this morning with Fantastic Mr. Fox. But first, we are going to be having a little look at some sentence doctor. So, today's challenge for you as a sentence doctor
is to spot the punctuation mistakes in these sentences. So what I'd like you to do for me is copy the sentences into your book, and today you are looking for 3 different punctuation mistakes that I've made. So that might be capital letters, it might be full stops, we could be looking for apostrophes here as well, question marks, exclamation marks. What mistakes do you think I've made? So the first sentence is, my brother's dog is called Rex. And the second sentence is, on Sunday, we all went to play at the park. So pause the video, copy the sentences out, but remember to correct those punctuation mistakes. Come back to me when you've finished. Okay then, all now ready to spot those punctuation mistakes. I wonder if you managed to get them all correct. Let's have a little look. So the first sentence, my brother's dog is called Rex. You should have hopefully spotted that the dog belongs to the brothers, so that needed an apostrophe to show possession in that sentence. And the name Rex did not have a capital letter, and it's a noun, a proper noun, so it needed a capital. So hopefully you corrected those 2. Again here, we've got a proper noun for Sunday that did not have a capital letter, so that was the 3rd mistake of today. So, on to our writing today. Okay, so our learning today is to describe characters from different viewpoints, and we're going to be having a little look at the character of Mr. Fox. So I want you to have a little think, having a look at the picture, having a think about all of the things that you learnt this morning in your reading, and think about how you might describe Mr. Fox. So what I'd like you to do now is pause the video and make a list of 6 words in your exercise book to describe his appearance, so what he looks like, and his personality, the kind of character that he is. So have a go. You need 6 words on your list. Maybe if you're challenging yourself, you could do 3 appearance and 3 personality. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video now and write down 6 words to describe Mr. Fox. Off you go. Okay, fantastic. Hopefully you are now back and we are ready to have a look at some of those words. So I made my list as well, and maybe you picked some that were similar to me. So maybe for appearance and what he looks like, you might have picked the colour orange, or maybe tan or a muddy brown colour. You might have picked smartly dressed. Maybe you noticed his sharp pointed nose, his eyes like slits, the white patch under his chin like a permanent shirt, a shirt that he never takes off. And maybe for your personality words, you might have chosen some of these. So sly, sneaky, cunning, proud, sharp as a knife, clever, superior, above the law, or a family man. Have a little think. Did you use any of those? Is there any that you think could be added to your list? Have you got any that are better than the words that I've thought of? Okay, so when we're writing, it's really important as authors that we try and make the reader feel how we want them to feel about the characters. So when we're writing, it's important that we want our readers not to dislike our hero. So the person that they want us to like, we need to make sure we've chosen the right words in our stories to help us to like them. No author wants the reader to dislike the hero or fall in love with the villain in the story, the baddie in the story. So the words that we choose are really, really important. So here are the words for personality that I came up with earlier. I want you to have a little look at those words and your words that you wrote down as well. Some of those words will help the reader to like our characters, and some of those words will make our reader dislike our characters. So what I'd like for you to do is look for the words that would make people dislike our character. So that wants to make them not like him. And what I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to pause the video and I want you to see if you can spot the words on screen that would help you to dislike this particular character. Okay, brilliant. Let's have a look and see if you managed to spot them all. Here we go. So the first one I've picked for making them dislike them is superior. People thinking that they're better than somebody else. That would be a word that I would use if I'm trying to get you to dislike a character. Another one of those words that I would use is cunning. Cunning suggests that they're being a bit sneaky. So I think I'd use that if I was trying to get you to dislike my character. My next one would be sly. Again, a little bit like cunning. It means you're being a bit sneaky and perhaps not being the kindest person that you could be. So that would make me not like you. Oh, this one definitely. Above the law. So thinking that the rules don't apply to them and they can do whatever they want. That would definitely be one that I would choose. And the last one I spotted on there would be sneaky. So I think that they might say that they were a sneaky character if they didn't want us to like him. But it's all a problem of perspective with different characters. So it's really important that the different characters see our main character in a different way. So who would like Mr. Fox in this? Would it be Mrs. Fox? Or would it be one of the farmers? Which character would like our fox in our story? Brilliant. Yeah, Mrs. Fox would really like him. But the way that she describes Mr. Fox might be very, very different from the way that the farmers describe Mr. Fox. If we have a look back at those words that we've just been thinking about, the superior, cunning, sly, above the law, sneaky, they might be the words that the farmer uses to describe the fox because he doesn't like him very much. Whereas Mrs. Fox might choose family man, clever, proud, or sharp as a knife, which means super, super clever, because she likes him. So it might be that they choose different words to describe the same character. So these are your writing challenges for today. So you're going to have 3 writing challenges. Each of them are a little bit different. Some of them are harder, some of them are easier. So it depends what level of challenge you want to give yourself. And you're going to have these different writing challenges each day. You get to pick which one you want to do and then hopefully share what you've been working on with us. So for today's first writing challenge is to write a wanted poster for the fox as if you were the farmers. So remembering that the farmers don't like the fox. So they're going to make him sound like a real baddie on this wanted poster. So you're going to remember that you need to describe his appearance in lots and lots of detail so that people can spot him if they're looking out for him and claim the reward. And remember, we're going to use all of that negative description that we were talking about earlier. So to help you with this is what a wanted poster could look like when you design your own, and here are some alternative words and vocabulary to help you describe the appearance of your fox. So if you want to do that challenge, you can pause now and have a go at it. If you want to listen to the next challenge, stay with me and we'll go on to that one. So challenge number 2 is from a slightly different perspective. So this time, instead of wanting the fox because you don't like him, you are going to create a missing poster. And this is describing the fox as if you like him, because you're going to pretend you're Mrs. Fox and Mr. Fox has gone missing. So remember that you want people to look out for him. So you need to make him to sound as lovely as possible, which means you've got to choose your vocabulary wisely. Now, this is a little bit more of a tricky challenge because I've given you a copy of a missing poster that might help you. And I've given you a list of words that could be useful to you, but you will notice, hopefully on here, that I've included some that Mrs. Fox would not use. So she wouldn't call her husband mean or furious maybe, or maybe not use the word angry. So some of these words are not for you. So you've got to make sure that you pick the right ones when you're describing Mr. Fox on this missing poster. So if this is the challenge that you think you fancy, you can pause the video now, or you can listen out to number 3. So the third challenge is my toughest challenge of all today. And this one is to write 2 short descriptions of Mr. Fox. One from the farmer's viewpoint and one from Mrs. Fox's viewpoint. So I want 2 paragraphs, both describing the fox, but I should be able to tell who's writing them from the words and the phrases that you've chosen. So I want you to imagine that you were introducing him as part of a story. But part of the story is written by Mrs. Fox and part of it is written by the farmers. So the other part of the challenge then is to not tell me which paragraph is which, because I should be able to tell from the words that you've chosen which one you've written as the farmers and which one you've written as Mrs. Fox. So to help you with your writing today, we've got a bit of a writer's toolkit to help you write an effective description with some of the things that you could include and some examples to put into your writing. But what I'm really looking for today is, have you chosen the right words to make your reader feel that the fox is a goodie or that the fox is a baddie? And for you guys, you are going to be doing this with both of them. So I'm going to recap all of the challenges, and then you can go back in the video and pause it on the one that you want to have a go at. So all 3 challenges for today. So you could write a wanted poster for the fox, pretending you're the farmers, and try and describe his appearance, what he looks like in lots of detail. You could, challenge 2, write a missing poster for the fox. So this time you're pretending that you're Mrs. Fox. You really, really like him and you want people to look out for him. So you're going to be describing his character as well as his appearance. For the 3rd challenge today, you can write 2 short descriptions of Mr. Fox. 1 pretending you're the farmers, 1 pretending you're Mrs. Fox, but you're not going to tell me that because I should be able to guess from the vocabulary choices that you make. So you can pause the video now. Decide on your challenge. In the PDF document that's attached to today's learning, there are all these challenges with all of the help sheets that you need to complete them. You can go back in the video to get the parts of the screen where you can see your task. So whichever one that you choose to do, make sure that you pop back onto the video and look at all of the resources that are there to help you. And we're really, really looking forward to seeing what you've got up to. So now's your time to pause the video, get on with your writing, and then come back to me once you've finished. Okay, welcome back everybody. Hopefully you've been able to do your writing today and you've been able to describe your character from a different viewpoint. Don't forget that you can send those across to your teachers, to Miss Cunnington at year 3 at redbrookhayes.staffs.sch.uk or to Miss Foster at year 4 at redbrookhayes.staffs.sch.uk, and they are going to love trying to work out which of the characters you were describing from today. So let's have a little bit of a think about your writing before we move on to the final challenge of the day. Have a little think when you're reading through your writing. Have you described Mr. Fox clearly? Can you tell if the author likes him or dislikes him? Which of the words did you choose to make sure that the reader did what you wanted them to? Did you use any descriptive tools in your writing? What do you think makes your writing really effective? And what could you do next time to improve your writing? So have a little reflect, think about your writing before we move on to our final challenge. So you can pause the video here and have a look, and then we'll get on to our last part. Okay, so our last lesson of today is our connected curriculum lesson. So these are a little bit different, so I want to just talk you through this a little bit. We are going to be starting a new topic, and our topic is called A World of Wonders. So we're going to be doing lots and lots of geography work. We're going to be thinking about the Earth. We're going to be thinking about different countries. We're going to be thinking about special buildings and places. We're going to be looking at different types of natural disasters that happen in our world. The water cycle. We're going to be looking at sculptures and all sorts over the next few weeks. But today's this week's learning, is all about looking at maps and atlases and finding out more about the world in which we live. So where places are, different locations. So in your connected curriculum this week, which is in your handout for today, on the very last page of your handout for today, you'll see all of these different challenges with lots of detail on them. But what you're going to do is you're going to choose one of these 3 challenges to complete this week. And this is going to show us what you know about the different countries in the world. So challenge 1 is to create a set of top trump cards. And this is about the world of wonders. Okay, so you're going to be looking at lots of different places and buildings and things around the world and making some top trump cards that you can play with at home to compare all those different places and where they are. Challenge number 2 is to create an information poster about one of the wonders of the world. So to have a little look at a video that introduces some of the wonders of the world, pick something that you're interested in, and then go and find out loads and loads of information just about that one place. And challenge 3 is to create an interactive world map. So our interactive world map is a map of the world that shows all of the different locations of the world, of the 7 wonders of the world, but hopefully you've got something in there that will mean that we can either lift the flap on something, or if you're creating a PowerPoint we can click on something. If you're making a video or using Google Earth perhaps to show us something, you can get us involved with your map and take us on a bit of a journey around the globe to see these different wonders of the world. So we're hoping that you'll find something exciting to do within those activities this week to help you to learn a little bit more about the world in different countries and how we describe locations. And as always, your teachers are ready and waiting to hear what you've been up to. So please make sure that you email in your different challenges that you've been doing, and I'll be back with you with your next writing lesson tomorrow. Have a lovely rest of the day. Enjoy creating your connected curriculum projects, and I can't wait to see what you get up to. See you soon. Bye.